Have you been avoiding Claude Code lately? Were you one of those people that felt like it was just not working as well as it used to be? Well, you're not wrong. They had some issues. But in the last 8 weeks, Anthropic has fixed those issues and made some great updates. Today, we're going to do a quick walkthrough of what went wrong, what was fixed, and what's been updated. Let's go take a look. Back in early August, users started reporting that Claude Code felt substantially worse. Some thought it had been throttled, and some people were experiencing getting kicked down to a lower model. After weeks of looking into it, Anthropic finally figured out what was causing the issues. It turns out it was caused by not one, but 3 bugs in the system. And unfortunately, the timeline of all of the bugs and some of the fixes for some of the bugs overlapped each other and caused what felt like a cascading chain of errors. The first problem turned out to be a routing issue. Some users just got routed to the wrong server. And once a user gets routed to a server, apparently it's sticky, so you continue to get routed to that same server. One of these servers was having issues, and so some users were experiencing problems because of that, while other users never had problems at all. This caused some confusion in Anthropic trying to figure out what the problem was. The second issue was users were experiencing random Thai or Chinese characters inserted into their English responses. The third one was an invisible compiler bug. This caused Claude to sometimes discard the best response in favor of a much worse one. This confluence of bugs gave Anthropic quite a bit of trouble trying to untangle what exactly was happening, because some users were reporting one issue, some were reporting another, and some had none of the issues at all. I won't go into detail about everything that caused the issues or what they did to fix it, but if you're interested in reading more about it, Anthropic has a really good write-up of what they did to diagnose and fix the problem. I'll include links to both articles in the description below. So now that we've got the big one out of the way, let's talk about a few of the updates that they've added to the Claude Code CLI in the last couple of months. The first one is they've added a status line. If you type /status line and hit enter, by default, Claude Code will try to build you a status line that kind of mirrors what you might have in your normal terminal using your profile, your bash, or your Z shell settings. However, if you don't want to just do that, you can customize it. So you can say things like, show the working directory in blue and the model name in orange. And it will go change the settings.json file in your home.claude directory. And there we go. We've got the working directory in blue and the model name in, well, I wouldn't call that orange exactly, but it is showing the working directory and the model name of the Claude model that I'm using. You can add things like the Git branch that you're on, time, date settings, project context. You can even add emojis. So if you're trying to remind yourself that you need to quit working because it's game day, you can just go ahead and do that. And if you want to edit the settings file yourself, Claude will walk you through the format of the change that you want to put in. And as far as I can tell, the next command that you run will cause that status line file to get picked up again and refresh your status line. Next up, Claude Code has a new /command tool. This new /command tool gives Claude the ability to invoke your custom /commands while it's running. So just as a quick reminder, if you create your own /command, I wrote one called write end-to-end tests. They live in the .claude/commands directory in your project or at a global level in your user home directory. Anything you put in here is a custom /command that you can find under the / menu. So I wrote a simple write e2e tests /command that tells Claude to use Playwright when writing end-to-end tests. So one of the ways to help Claude trigger the use of your custom commands is you can always add a memory. So if I ask Claude to hashtag to remember to run the /write e2e tests when it's about to create end-to-end testing, it will add that to the project's claude.md file. And then Claude will remember to trigger itself to use the /command the next time you ask it to write end-to-end tests. This does mean, though, that Claude has access to all of the custom /commands that you've written. So you do want to make sure that it is appropriate if Claude decides to run your /commands on its own, or you can change the permissions. To disable permissions, you would just open up your custom /command file, and in the front matter, they call it, you would just add the line disable model invocation, set that to true. And then Claude won't be able to run that particular /command. So just remember to be aware that your custom /commands can live in your project directory, but they can also live outside of your project directory under your global settings. So you might want to double check and take a look at any custom /commands you might have in your user /.claude/commands directory, and just see if there's anything in there that you don't want Claude to invoke on its own. And finally, Claude has added some automated security reviews in Claude Code. They have added a new /security review command. You can either set this up in GitHub Actions and it will automate some of this during the PR review, or you can run it directly in your terminal. So I asked Claude to add a very unsecure use of an Anthropic API key right in an index.html file, and it did do what I asked. It did put a huge security warning here: never expose API keys, because somebody could just see your API key, grab it, and use it themselves and rack up hundreds of dollars conceivably on your tab. I did want to try out the security review /command, so let's take a look and see what it recommends. All right, so Claude analyzed the code changes for security vulnerabilities and it returned a report. As expected, it found a high severity Anthropic API key hard-coded in client-side code. Definitely something you'd want to avoid, so that's awesome that it caught that. Recommendation: remove the hard-coded API immediately. I definitely agree with that. Some of the other risks that Anthropic mentions it's looking for specifically is SQL injection risk, cross-site scripting, authentication authorization flaws, insecure data handling, and dependency vulnerabilities. This will check for known issues in third-party packages, and we have seen a couple of those recently. So I think that's just a really nice little feature they've added. All right, there is one other one I wanted to touch on, and that is the fact you should be able to hit Control-B to run bash commands in the background inside of Claude Code. So this might be something like starting a development server and just letting it run while you continue to work with Claude and do other tasks. However, I got it to work just fine during testing, but then during filming, I could not get it to work. There are reports that Control-B is not working for Windows users. I'm running on a Mac. So I don't know if they're in the middle of some update that's caused a problem on the Mac, or if for whatever reason it just wasn't working for me. But that's something to try. Command-B to run tasks in the background. And then when you exit Claude Code, if it does have any tasks running, like a server running, it will kill those processes for you, so you don't have just stray things up and running while you're unaware of it. Hopefully, now that Anthropic has their bugs worked out, we can all go back to Claude Code and find the Claude Code that we have known and loved for so long. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.